Hello YouTube. It is Sydney Island here. That's Island with the Y, not an S. And today we're going to talk about Mercury in Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. We're going in order, starting with the first sign of the zodiac, or the first house, which is the house of Aries. And then we're going to end with the 12th, which is Pisces, all right? And we're going to do it by sections of threes, because I love the number 3, right? The number 3 is magical, okay? Jesus rose up after 3 days, baby. All right. But before I get into it, I would like to let you all know that I do birth chart readings. So hit me up at s.island55@yahoo.com. And also follow me on Instagram at Sydney_Island, because I do a lot of astrology updates and artsy posts and stuff like that on there. All right, so let's start off with the explanation of Mercury in astrology. All right, so planet Mercury in astrology. Planet Mercury is the planet of the way we think and the way that we communicate. It's the planet that represents how we absorb information, how we retain information, how we retain what we see in our environment, how we perceive our environment, and how we speak what we see. It's also the sound of our voice. Are you a soft speaker or are you a harsh speaker? Are you more loud or are you more quiet? Do you speak with a lot of confidence or are you more of a laid back kind of person when it comes to your communication? Planet Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. So if you have these placements, Mercury in either Gemini or Virgo, you're very lucky. Okay, this is a good placement to have. All right, so Mercury in Cancer. Let's get to it. First thing I could say with Mercury in Cancer is that this placement isn't the most logical or rational placement for Mercury to be in. You have a tendency to make decisions based on how you feel emotionally. You can be a very, very emotional person, all right? And you may not even be an emotional person. You just communicate with feeling. You just communicate with emotion. You may not be a person who is like, oh my gosh, always feeling all the time, but it's just the way that you communicate. People may get that kind of vibe from you. All right. So people have Mercury in Cancer. You have a tendency to sometimes take things a little personal, even if it's not about you. Yes, cue the ginormous bees because it's springtime. I hear you buzzing around my dang head. Try not to take things too personal. Mercury in Cancer. But it's no point in me saying it because you're going to do it anyways. All right. People who have Mercury in Cancer can also be moody. It's no surprise. They always say that Cancer is a very moody sign. You have your emotional ups and downs. So when it comes to your mind and your mentality, you can have a lot of emotional ups and downs as well. And you could be the type who can be somewhat defensive in your communication skills because you're always trying to defend the fact that you're super sensitive and you can get your feelings hurt real easy. So you may be a little bit defensive and a little bit cautious in your communication as well and somewhat guarded. Okay. And Mercury in Cancer people, you have powerful intuition. Okay, because you're a water sign. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio are water signs. And these signs are known to be very intuitive, almost to a point of being psychic. Okay, you can have psychic visions. I had this supervisor that I used to work with in the past who had a Mercury in Pisces, and he had this ability to just know what kind of energy you was coming from, why you acted the way you acted. It was this insane perception. It was just very impressive, right? And Mercury and Cancer people have that also. Cancer rules the 4th house, and the 4th house is the house of family, home, and the mother. So people who have a Mercury in Cancer, you do value the home and the family, and you may even talk about home and family a lot because this is the sign of communication. So you may talk about your mother a lot or your family a lot, and you're very fond of home and family, and you just value that bubble, And this is a more introverted Mercury placement to have. You could be a mad homebody, you could talk to people about whatever, but after a while you'll get a little drained and you'll need to go back to that little shell of yours. All right, man, this sun is beating down on me. Should I move places? God dang. I know this is not the best lighting, but I can't deal with the sunlight just beating on me like that. It makes me feel like I'm gonna faint. I don't know, it's weird. So having a Mercury in Cancer, you, like I said, value your relationship with your family, and you also need to have very tight-knit relationships with your friends as well. You're the type of person to have only a few close friends that you confide in, rather than being that social butterfly that's friends with everybody, like a Mercury in Gemini or Mercury in Libra, for example. And when it comes to idealizing the past and being nostalgic, you are the king and the queen of this Mercury in Cancer. You can be very sentimental. The type to keep old letters from back in the day When my lover used to send me love notes when I was in high school, you know, that type of person. You know, you hold on to the past, and it can get a little negative at times because you may hold on to negative experiences, you know, or you may hold on to good experiences to a point where you find it difficult to be in the present moment, you know. So try to ground yourself, Mercury in Cancer, and be a little bit more like here rather than back there in the past. All right, that's one of the darker sides of Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer, man, y'all have an amazing memory. I also feel that Cancer suns do too, because one thing I've learned over the years is that emotion helps you to have a good memory. If you're a very emotional person, typically you have a very good memory. And that's why women a lot of the times have a really good memory, better than men, because we remember old stuff. Y'all know how it is with us women. We remember old stuff that happened a long time ago, and the very details of it, and what shirt we wore, and what kind of music was playing in the background, and we remember all this type of stuff. And it's because we have emotional memories. And whenever emotion is tied to a memory, it makes it more vivid, you know. So Mercury in Cancer, people being so emotional, and you have a very, very good memory. When it comes to Mercury in Cancer, you're not the type to just simply go by hardcore facts. You need an emotional connection in your conversation. You can't just have those strict, boring, logical conversations, you know, like a Mercury in Virgo. No offense, Virgo. Virgos can talk about like super, you know, logical things like politics or whatever. But a Mercury in Cancer would rather talk about their emotions and what they've been through when they were kids and their past trauma and all types of stuff like that. They want to get into the feely things. They rather recite poetry to each other. Shoot. Yes, Mercury in Cancer, you do possess a lot of emotional intelligence. Ain't nobody got nothing over you when it comes to the emotions and understanding emotion. And this can make you emotionally manipulative. You can be a master at emotional manipulation, you know, so be careful with that, you know. You can either use your ability to understand emotion to your benefit and take advantage of someone, or you can use it to understand the collective, understand the emotions of the collective and heal, you know, with art, you know, creating relatable art to relay a message that kind of tugs at people's heartstrings. All right. You can also be a very caring person, you know, very nurturing, because this is the sign of the mother. So you can be a very caring, very nurturing person. You love to take care of people, and people would like to come to you for advice or for that nurturing or that mothering. You get a lot of trust and a lot of love from people because people just feel like you really care. You know, you really care about Mercury in Cancer, and I don't really feel that I get that from other people. So I'm coming to you, Mercury in Cancer. All right, because you have a certain gentleness about you. You know, this is not the most loud or abrasive Mercury, depending on your sun sign. All right, so let's move on to Mercury in Leo. All right, Leo the lion. Roar. All right, that was so cheesy. Man, this makes for a very dynamic speaker. Someone who is prone to being very dramatic and very expressive and very flamboyant. When they speak, someone that's like, I am here, and I am Mercury and Leo. Bow down to me, pay attention to me. I am beautiful, I am sexy, I have all the things that you want to see. You know, I don't know where that Jamaican accent came from. But Mercury and Leo, y'all like to put on a show, all right? Especially when it comes to communication. And even when y'all think. Y'all like to think of ways to entertain people. Think of ways that you can be entertained. Okay, Mercury and Leo are natural born entertainers. You having that powerful Leo energy, you know, the sun rules Leo, you can also be a very confident speaker. You know, people will have a lot of faith in you because you have a lot of faith in yourself. You come off as like very self-assured, like I got this. I know who I am. I know what I want. You know what I mean? And not only that, but you have this funny theatrical way about you also. Those who have a Mercury in Leo can make really great comedians also. I said that about a Mercury in Gemini also. These people can be flat out freaking like hilarious because they know how to do that dramatic thing, you know, and they love to laugh. Leo rules the 5th house, and the 5th house is the house of children, fun, you know, recreational activities, and, you know, love affairs. So Leos love to have fun. Oh, I see a little squirrel on top of the fence. Go, little squirrely. Move your tail. Move your tail, little squirrely. Wow. I just got distracted by that squirrel, and then I looked down at my notes and it said short attention span. I'm not a Mercury in Leo, but listen, I do have a short attention span sometimes. Not like a Mercury and Leo. But yeah, Mercury and Leos, y'all want to have fun and have excitement so much that, yeah, y'all can have short attention spans. And be careful not to be self-centered in your way of thinking, Mercury and Leo. Sometimes you can think so much about yourself because this is the sign of Leo. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't care about other people, because Leo energy can be very generous and very giving. Like, you love people. Leo rules the heart. You have a big heart. You love people. But sometimes in your way of thinking, you have a tendency to like think about yourself more than other people. And you talk about yourself a lot, like me, this is what I'm doing. This placement can be very prideful. You know, Leo is a sign of pride. So you can be very prideful in the way that you think and communicate. You know, it can be hard to argue with the Mercury and Leo because this is a fixed sign. So you can be very stubborn in your ways of doing things. And you have that Leo pride and that stubbornness, and it's just like, I don't care what you say, I am a Leo. What I think is best, you know, my way or the highway, my way is the best way kind of mentality. And this can make you somewhat of a domineering person, or a person who just thinks that they're always right and can never be wrong. And, you know, you can get into a lot of debates, verbal debates, because of that. Mercury and Leo people, you have a certain passionate fire about you. When you communicate, there's a certain passion when it comes to communication. You're passionate about speaking to people. You can be a very, very good public speaker, a very, very motivating and inspiring, you know, motivational speaker. You know, you could be a really good at writing motivational, you know, poems or proses or whatever you want to call it. Someone who is really good at uplifting people and bringing them out of their depression, because you are the sun. The sun rules Leo. All right, you got the sun here. You got all that expressive light energy, and you could be really good at using your words to uplift people and make them feel better. Mercury and Leo people, you love the spotlight and you love attention, and you speak for attention. You're like, okay, I'm not going to say nothing unless I know that I'm going to get attention when I say something. You know what I mean? So you need attention. You need praise. And you oftentimes get it because you have that allure about you. You know, you have that passion and that fire and that confidence about you. This can also make you a very charming person. You're really good at the art of persuasion. You could be very good at seducting people. Subducting, that's not even a word. Seducing people. Very good at seducing people. Very charming. And because Leo rules the heart, you also speak with your heart. When you speak, it comes from your heart. You speak with a lot of heart. You speak with a lot of love. You speak with a lot of like care for people in your environment. You know, people really feel like you're carrying them. You know, you have a certain kind of big, grand energy about you when you communicate, that people feel like that you're carrying everyone and their feelings in their heart. You know what I mean? And this is a great place for being a leader, or for being in an authoritative position. All right, now let's move on to Mercury in Virgo. So Virgo is at home here. All right, and the sun keeps on trying to find me. Dang it, it's too hot for all of that. Y'all trying to kill me. All right, Mercury and Virgo. This is a good placement to have. Virgo is exalted here. This is the best energy for Mercury because Mercury rules Virgo. So this instantly makes for a very intelligent person. A person who has a very sharp mind. Someone who is very analytical and very observant. And it's kind of hard to deceive a Mercury in Virgo. It's hard to get over on a Mercury in Virgo. For example, one of those cheesy sales pitch, you know, bribey kind of, you know, things couldn't really get to a Mercury in Virgo. Mercury in Virgo can see right through your BS. And they know when you're trying to trick them. Okay? Because they are too smart for that. These people are so intelligent that they can figure out complex patterns a lot quicker than the average person. This is classic like nerd brain here, you know, and I love it. Classic nerd brain. Both of my sisters are Virgos, very smart, you know. We have these conversations and it's like, I love talking to Virgos because y'all just get it. Y'all just get life. Y'all just get it, you know. And a lot of people like this about you, Mercury and Virgo, is that you're just down to earth and rational and logical, and you don't do stuff that's just random, that just don't make no sense. Like, you're very sensible. That's the word. Mercury and Virgo people typically are very sensible, and they give really good, sensible advice. You know, you're not caught off guard really often by what a Mercury and Virgo says or does. You expect for them to come up with something very smart, and typically they do. Mercury and Virgo, your mind is your greatest asset. Your mind is your most prized possession. So protect your mind at all costs. You just get it. You just get how things work in life. You're very realistic. And you can be what they call a realist, and sometimes to a point of being a little pessimistic. So be wary of that, because the sign of Virgo can be prone to being too negative about things. And so be wary of that. You sometimes see reality so much that you sometimes think that like negativity is reality, and that can be delusional, like your opposite sign Pisces, who's known for being delusional. You try to be decisive in almost everything you do. Even when you're not decisive, even if you don't exactly know what it is that you want, you try your hardest to make solid decisions when you need to. You prefer not to take all day to make a decision because you know that people are waiting on you. Be careful with perfectionism, Mercury and Virgo, thinking that everything has to be perfect. And you also, when it comes in your own mind, you feel as though you have to think in a perfect way. And this can cause you to lose your shit. Honestly, like, you could be so cool, calm, and collected, but then once you get into that intense, critical, judgmental, perfectionistic mindset, then it's just like all chaos happens, and it happens all in here. It happens all in your mind. And people may not be able to tell, because with that Virgo energy, you're really good at that poker face, that calm, I got it all together type of vibe. But on the inside, you're losing it because you feel like you should have made that speech perfect in your speech class. Oh my God, I was painting this picture and that one little streak across the picture just ruined it. And then I gotta submit that to my teacher, and you know? Little things. Oh my gosh, I was late. I was late for my job interview. 2 minutes late. Oh my gosh, what are they gonna think about me? You know? Sometimes it could be overboard to a point where you literally put yourself into depression and misery. So be careful with that. Because you're far too intelligent to let yourself get lost in something that doesn't exist, like perfectionism. Okay? There's flaws in you, in me, in the world, and that's what makes it perfect. Alright? So I guess there is such thing as perfectionism then. Huh. You also sometimes can have a serious demeanor. And this is not going to be for all Mercury and Virgos, but Virgos do have a tendency to have a very serious side to them. Even the most funny, goofy Virgos, because we know they're out there. I know a handful of them, my sister's being one of them. And you could be the most goofy, funny person ever, being a Virgo Sun or Virgo Mercury, but you will have a very serious side to you where you just really got to get down to business, and you care so much about your career and your finances and doing things right, and you have very, very, very little tolerance for lazy people and liars and people who don't put in all that they can, you know, things like that, because you feel you're doing everything. But oftentimes, Mercury and Virgo, no one asks you to do everything. You're doing it on your own, and then you complain and say, y'all just making me do all the work. And it's like, well, you volunteered, you know what I mean? And that goes for Virgo Sun too, okay? Also, you could be very detail-oriented, you know, when it comes to your projects. If the light streaks across my face bother you, you can click out of the video. Like, there's nothing else I can do. I'm sensitive to sunlight, very sensitive to sunlight, so I need this shade. Okay. You, like I said, can be very detail-oriented when it comes to the projects that you take up in your life, whether it be art, politics, you know, music, dance. I just can't help but to name creative things. I'm an artist. It's all I think about is art. So that perfectionistic energy, it can make you very high-strung. And this placement can be one of the most anxious Mercury placements there is, along with Mercury and Gemini, because Mercury rules these two signs. And Mercury is such a fast-paced energy. And Mercury always wants to dissect information as fast as it can, especially when it's in Gemini. And with Virgo, you always want to do everything right, and you want to do it as fast as possible too. You have that fast kind of way about you too. Maybe not like a Gemini, but you still want it to be done as soon as possible so you can be able to get the next thing done, because all you're caring about is your duties and responsibilities. So you can be very anxious. You can be prone to having anxiety disorders, having a Mercury in Virgo, like generalized anxiety disorder. I have that. I was diagnosed with GAD when I was 18, but I have a Virgo rising, so, hey, there you go. I have Virgo in my first and second house, so, hey, there you go. Bam. Oh, and I just wrote down, you like to take care of your daily duties. Other people were bored to death about having to run all these errands, get the groceries, do the laundry, blah, blah, blah. But Virgo's like, yes, I can do all these things today. I have free time to do all these things, and it just excites you to do the day-to-day activities and things like that. But that's not always going to be the case. Yeah, so Mercury and Virgo, you're just a very responsible person for the most part what's got to be done's got to be done. I'm gonna do it as soon as I can. You're very much the type of person who likes to plan things before you do them. You're not, you know, impulsivity and spontaneity sometimes can give you anxiety. You know, you need to plan things before you do it. You know, I had a friend who was a Virgo sun, and we was about to go to the park, and she packed a whole bag full of stuff. And I'm like, we're just going to the park. What are you doing? She's like, we need water bottles just in case we faint. And then we need this and we need that. And she had packed all this stuff. And I'm just like, we're just going to the park. Like, Virgo, y'all crazy. Y'all crazy, but it's necessary. Y'all crazy. It's a necessary crazy. Okay, this makes y'all very helpful because the 6th house is Virgo's house, which is the sign of service. So this makes you a very helpful person. You love to be of service to people. You could be drawn to jobs like nursing and caretaking and being like maybe a daycare teacher, or just something that involves being of service to people. You know, maybe the military, things like that. You could be very reliable and very useful. You know, you're the type of friend that people hit up when they need something and you got them, you know. This is a very, like I said, detail-oriented, organized sign who loves to study and loves to learn, loves to read. You always got a book in your hand. That's how you're so smart. It's because you're always retaining information. It brings you great pleasure and great joy to retain information, okay? You may not be as quick to speak about the information you retain, like your cousin sign, Mercury and Gemini. I don't know why I'm calling it cousin. I don't know. Maybe a little bit more introverted and quiet than, say, a Mercury and Gemini. But that information that you retain, you best to believe that it will play a very important role in Mercury Virgo and in other people's lives as well, because you most likely will publish a book, because Mercury Virgo, this is a really good placement for a writer. You know, you can make a really good writer, really good poet, really good with words, really good with understanding words, someone who has a really big vocabulary. All right, you're awesome, Mercury Virgo. Yeah, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Next will be, what's the next few signs? Y'all will see when it's posted. I ain't even gonna check. All right, like, comment, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love you all. Love yourself. Love life. Bye-bye.